7, заряд 3, 1.
Украина будет наша.
Все будет Россия, да. Как наш Крым, так и все будет наше. Вот так.
Imaginile pe care le urmăriți sunt înregistrate în interiorul unei baze Wagner din Ucraina. Este posibil să le vedeți acum, fiindcă ele au fost scoase la lumină chiar de cei care le-au filmat. Foști luptători care au dezertat și care azi cer să depună mărturie în fața Curții Penale Internaționale. Încearcă să-și salveze viața și familiile după ce ani de zile au făcut parte din acest grup militar de o violență extremă și au participat la misiuni în Siria, Mali ori Sudan. Ei au reprezentat arma letală trimisă și pe frontul din Ucraina.
Да, сейчас все готовим. Потому что, да.
Primul care a văzut aceste înregistrări este Vladimir Putin, activist pentru drepturile omului și fondator al platformei gulagu.net. Ani de zile a lucrat pentru a expune violențele din închisorile rusești după ce le-a cunoscut din interior. În 2011 a înființat platforma, iar 4 ani mai târziu a fugit din Rusia pentru a se stabili în Franța, la Biarritz, unde se află sub protecție permanentă oferită de statul francez. Aici l-am întâlnit și noi. Am purtat o discuție din care am încercat să înțelegem ce se petrece în Rusia și cum s-a transformat această țară până în punctul în care se află azi.
First 4 years I worked in Moscow. In 2012, 13, 14 I was the president of the commission in Russian parliament who named Duma, who protects the human rights. We do something to open and to do the independent investigation with deputies, with journalists. But in the end of 2014 and the start of 2015, when the regime changed, when they do something to annex Crimea, to enter in Ukraine, it was like it was a tractor, and after some years it's changed like a tank of army.
And you felt this change from inside. I mean, 2014, when Crimea was invaded, annexed.
Yes, first time, and me, like millions of Russians, I don't understood in really case what had happened, because of all the people in Russia, we saw the television. Television presented to us the picture with a lot of persons, with fires in Ukraine. It was the picture like in our memory what it's happened in the Second World War in Germany. And their propaganda worked very hard to imagine that it's good what Russian Federation do to help to some Ukrainians. And but I understood in 2015 when they killed our one of the most popular opposition leader, Boris Nemtsov. They killed him near the Kremlin. I understood that it's not good in Russia. It's return of the totalitarianism regime if the special forces killed the opposition leader.
I would like to ask you, when was the moment that you fled Russia?
In my memory, it's very clear, the picture about this. 3 times they invited me in administration of Vladimir Putin. It's the named old place, old palace. It's near the Kremlin, big building where it's all the bureaucrat systems of the Putin's regime. They invited me 3 times to contact, to propose to me the big post in the government or in Duma, big money, respect of the Russian medias, but they wanted just to change one thing, one symbol in name of gulagu.net. Gulagu.net, not to gulag, and and Gulaga нет. We don't have the Gulag in Russia. It's return of 180 degrees. They won't
so
take
not
me.
Gulagu, something like
yes,
that.
because we beaten for the human rights against the tortures, and they asked me to change the name of our project, to publish the very beautiful picture what it's happened. It's very good. And to stop our independent investigation. And yes, after they want to control the network gulagu.net, to enter and to have all the IDs, IPs in 9 September 2015, early in the morning, they entered in all the apartments and flats of our team. They entered with masks, with cameras of Russian propaganda, and they took all of my computers, iPhones, documents from European Court of Human Rights. They took all, and just when they took all of our iPhones, they give to me very easy, very smart phone and said, wait, after this, after some hours, it's phone call, and it was one of the generals of the FSB who said, Vladimir, we respected your project. We will be happy to work with you. And now let's see our respect to you. We have the power to arrest you immediately. But we gave to you the freedom now, and spend this weekend with your wife. Let's talk with her about your future. And please, we'll make good solution and decision, and in 14 September we will wait you in administration of Putin. And in this weekend I understood, if I will go to administration and said the first time no, they will arrest me, put in the prison, and the next some years and maybe all the life I spend in prison, or they do the torture and they kill me. If I said yes, I will give all the secrets of our sources, and I will lose my independence, and I annulled all our independent investigations, and I will create a lot of problems to the persons who trust to me. And it was a very, very difficult solution and decision when we talked with my wife, and we bought the tickets, and in 13 September we will fly it away from Russian Federation.
Investigația Gulagu.net despre situația din închisori a dat roade neașteptate.
In autumn of 2021, one of our sources, he came in France, asked political asylum, gave to me the hard disk with a lot of files, and when we published this archive, it created the biggest wave, the biggest scandal in the international media about the theme of the tortures and about the tortures in Russian prisons. And because it was really proves without the questions, it's created a lot of changing in Russia. When we did the pressure for Putin with a lot of medias, the director of the prison system, general of the FSB, Alexander Kalashnikov, he lost his post. The sadists of one of the conveyor of the tortures in prison number 1 in Saratov region was arrested, and we published some documentaries in international and in Russia too. And they, after some months, they changed the law, and now the tortures, it's the same like to kill the man.
După această victorie, în decembrie 2021, Vladimir și echipa lui și-au luat o scurtă vacanță, dar pauza nu avea să dureze prea mult.
The end of the February in 24, Denis, my colleague, came to me. We opened our computers to work, and we saw these disgusting pictures with thousands, hundreds of rockets and bombs against Ukraine, and it's destroy all of our pictures. Because when we opened the secrets of the Russian prisons in September, October 2021, I understood that now we see the most dangerous crimes in the world about the conveyors of the tortures.
You thought that?
Yes, when I thought this, but when
reality would show you something else.
But in February, in 24 February, when I saw this, I understood that it's something bigger and more dangerous in the world now, and we saw this in regime online, and after some days I understood that it's change. Russia change, regime change, and we don't have the chance to do something for the democracy with this regime, because it was the tank who closed all the doors and who go to kill the people.
La doar o lună după debutul invaziei, sursele gulagu.net au început să trimită informații incredibile.
In March 2022, we received the first messages about the new concentration camps. It was new reality of this century, when in Russia, FSB and prison system constructed more than 10 concentration camps on the base of the Russian prisons and detention centers for the Ukrainians. And from March, April, we received a lot of messages about the thousands Ukrainians who were arrested from Russian forces and kidnapped to the Russian prisons, and it were a lot of tortures. It's the same conveyor who in this moment work very hard against Ukrainians. And in June 2022, we received the messages from our sources in Russian prisons that they recruit the prisoners to send them to the war.
How did they do that? Okay, those people were in prison, and the guards would go to these people and tell them what? Because they would not offer them freedom. They would offer them a job as a soldier who might be killed.
In really case, very easy. It's just like mathematics. Putin, the last 10 years before the open part of the war, he arrested a lot of people to put them, young people without the crimes, to put them with big periods to the prison, in prisons and colonies. The last 10 years they created a lot of conveyors of the tortures, the schemes of the corruption, extortion, humiliation, rapes, to do the repression to this. And after this, oligarch Prigozhin, he like man left, man right of Putin, it was very artistic, like in theater. Let's see, a big prison with 1,000 of prisoners, and first time in their life the helicopter go to this prison, 2 minutes rest in the air above the prison after he landing, and after some minutes oligarch with his security, with arms, entered in prison, and the bosses of this prison say to them, okay, open. It's not the same. They understood that Prigozhin, it's
high
near
level.
the Putin, it's
Yes.
the highest level of the persons who enter in this colony. And for prisoners, it's two. And he said to them that I present Putin. For me, you respect the prison system, you scared the special forces, you scared the investigation committee and prosecutors. It's all bullshit. It's me who have the power, and I am here, have the power to give to you the freedom if you go with me. We propose to you money, medals, honor, freedom, respect of the social. If you will die, we do all maximum to say to you bye-bye, like with a veteran of the army. And the people who spend the last 5-10 years of in conveyors of the tortures, every day they were in the risk of the rape or of the die in Gulag. And now one man proposed to them freedom. He said that he delayed all the crimes in their biography. He with Putin annulled this and just spend 6 months with me in Ukraine.
So they were not coerced, but convinced.
Yes, and for a lot of prisoners, they understood that Ukrainians, it's not the enemy. They understood that the enemy, it's the sadists of the FSB, of the prison systems. But I don't want to be the lawyer, advocate for them, why they go. But if we put our head in this situation, do the analyze when you spend some years in the conveyor of the tortures, it's like a big casserole, you put in the water, you do the fur, you closed very hard, and it's just Prigozhin who enter and take, and it's like
it took the steam out.
Yes,
yeah, I
yes.
understand. And so he also, so these people, not only Prigozhin maybe, but these people were also controlling their minds. So all of a sudden, the enemy was not someone who tortured them, but the enemy on the battlefield. And that enemy on the battlefield was the Ukrainian soldier, right?
The most part who say yes to Prigozhin, they don't understood in really case what its weight to them in the war. And when they left the colony and they put them to the big trucks of the prison system, put them to the airport. In the airport, it's the big planes of Russian army who take them, put them in Rostov. In Rostov, they change the clothes, the prison's clothes, it's to the garbage, and they take the army, they were transferred it, to the training centers, and they give to them the arms, the experience of the war. It was like
training. You mean? They
yes,
trained them.
It was something new when you spend a lot of time in the prison, and when you have free, it's like a bottle of champagne. But when they entered in the war, in the first line, they understood all. And some people called to me and said, Vladimir, please help to me to be returned in the prison. I don't want to stay here. Because when they entered in the first line, it's the line, and after some steps is this. This who take them, who take the Ukrainians, and they understood that it's not like in the films, because the Wagner Group take them in front, and if they go out from the first line, if they want to return, Wagner Group killed them. Torture them.
So these people coming from prisons, they were on the first line, and they were not really, they were used by the Wagner Group.
Yes. The Wagner Group, it was one of the special forces of Russian Federation with inhumanity, illegal methods. It was the machine of this, and they put in this conveyor of the war the prisoner from the prison and sends to him, and after 2 or 3 weeks they put him on the first line without the experience, without the motivation, but it was just motivation. If you don't go in front against Ukrainians, they kill. They 100 persons. They will kill him, and they killed in these methods more than 20,000 people in the first, the second part of 2022. And first some months of the war, we opened the secrets about two illegal schemes. First illegal scheme of this regime to do the torture against Ukrainians in Russian prisons. It's one part of our investigation. And the second part, it's about the Wagner Group, Prigozhin, and illegal methods of Wagner Group, who took thousands of prisoners to send them to the war. But in September 2022, Putin did the mobilization. And in the end of September 2022, every day hundreds of people phoned and wrote to our hotline. They understood that we have the experience to do the evacuation, like for Sergei Savelyev, who in 2021 came in France to give to us the archive of the tortures. And a lot of people who worked in the Putin system, they know this story, and they know that we have the experience to help the people to leave Russia.
Curând, Osechkin a început să primească și altfel de mesaje.
Last year in December, there were headlines all around the world about the case of a former Wagner officer and GRU officer, of course, who was working with you to send to you evidence about the atrocities that the Wagner Group committed in Ukraine and during the battles. His name is Igor Salikov. So, how long have you been working with Igor? How did he contact you?
It was the most long, the biggest evacuation in our experience. He contacted with me in October 2022, first time. And he described his histories. He said that he participated in the war against Ukraine. He was one of the chefs of one of the special division in 24 February 2022, who entered in Ukraine from the territory of Belarus near the nuclear station Chernobyl. And he described what has happened. He said that he left the war in June 2022 because in the first some months he understood that it's a war with a lot of war crimes. It's a legal war with don't motives, and he worked like army officer. It's his profession, more than 30 years. And he said that first time in his life he sends him like a member of the fascist regime, because when he saw what the army of Russian Federation did in Ukraine, he understood that it's not like in Russian propaganda picture. It's not the Ukrainians who is Nazi in this history. It's Russian soldiers who enter in Ukraine, who destroy a lot of towns, cities, life of hundreds, thousands Ukrainians. And for us, because when we talked with him in October, November, December 2022, I understood that in really case it is the very dangerous man with very big...
Because he was a mercenary,
because
after all.
First time he is ex-officer of GRU. It's the strongest division of Russian army, like military intelligence services, who have the experience to do something like diversion act of the terrorism in other countries. And I understood that it's the man with the very big experience of the special operation. And first months is our team do the fact-checking of his history to understood it's really ex-combatant who don't want to participate in the war and who want to give the testimony about this, or it's the special operation to take our help and to enter in Europe. And in first, and I posed to him the question in December 2022. Gave he to me the right to send information about his history to ICC and to the Office of the General Prosecutor of Ukraine, because it was the first time when the investigators and procureurs ask our help and invite us to the investigation to took our testimony and files. And Igor said yes, he gave to me the right to transfer his information and his name, surname, documents to do this. And after this, we waited the answers of our colleagues who do the official investigation.
Exactly what did you transfer to the General Prosecutor and to the ICC? What kind of footage, photos, documents,
yes,
what exactly?
It was some videos, some photos, a lot of information with name and surname, the structure of the Wagner Group, of the Redut Group. And Redut and Wagner, it's like fingers of them, one of the men of the Russian army. It's just they put a lot of money to the public relation to construct the falsification picture about private military company, but in really case it's the proxy, and in really case it's the special secrets division to do something in another country. But if, for example, CIA or investigators in Europe will find some evidence about their crimes, Putin said, no, it's not me, it's private, it's oligarch Prigozhin, and all the first 8 years of the crimes of Wagner Group, all this period, Putin lied. He said that it's not us, it's not our army, and it's just after the situation in June 2023, he published, after big stress about the possibility of the revolution of Russian army in Moscow, he published the information that, oh, yes, all the year we paid to them more than 100 milliards rubles, and all the money of Wagner Group, it's money of the state. But before 8 years, they rest in shadow.
That was Prigozhin's revolution, when he went with Wagner fighters towards Moscow. That was the moment, right?
Yes, it was the moment when some generals of the secret services with Prigozhin do something to have more power in Russian Federation. But in the last moment, some generals lost this project, and Prigozhin with Dmitry Utkin, with his soldiers, rest alone in this situation, and the FSB do maximum of their possibility to finish this secret project. It was like the monster who before work for Putin like a dog, but the dog changed like in lion and tiger, and they lost the control, and they made the decision to kill him. And we saw how Utkin and Prigozhin go down.
But back to Igor, I was asking you, what exactly did he provide that you sent to the ICC and the General Prosecutor?
It was the information which describes, because a lot of commanders rest with pseudonyms, and nobody understood the name and surname of a lot of them. Igor helped to us to open the secrets. Who is Wagner? It's Dmitry Utkin. Who is, and it was the big list of the pseudonyms at first time. He said to, because his ex-friends were in the Redut and Wagner Group, he had a lot of information and transferred to us. he sent it to us, the photos, the videos from Syria, from Mali, from Sudan. He helped to us to find the new traces to our investigation against Wagner Group. And when we published this in April, May 2023, it's destabilized Prigozhin, because Prigozhin don't understood that just we have one source who were one of the members of his group and who were before the friend of Dmitry Utkin. He thinking that it's FSB and Russian special forces who send to us the information to destroy Wagner Group. And in his head, it's created the idea that he need to do the revolt to change something to have more power. But in really case, it was some sources like Igor and some another guys who just sent it to us a little bit information.
Это война средневековая, феодальная. Поэтому она, если так говорить, плохая, на мой взгляд.
Igor Salikov este acum în Olanda, acolo unde a ajuns la finalul anului trecut cu intenția de a depune mărturie în fața Curții Penale Internaționale. În ianuarie a fost chemat la o primă discuție și acum așteaptă răspunsul investigatorilor. Îi vor prelua sau nu mărturia. Informațiile oferite de Salikov au ajuns și la biroul procurorului general al Ucrainei, potrivit publicației Babel. Am fost curioși să aflăm dacă acest gest e doar un artificiu prin care Igor Salikov încearcă să-și salveze viața, căci din gruparea Wagner, mai ales că a fost comandant, nu poți ieși când și cum dorești. L-am contactat online în căutare de răspunsuri.
Я не отношусь к категории людей, которые прям миротворцы такие там. И я прям, разумеется, любой человек всегда за мир. Я не отношусь к людям, которые считают, что без насилия в нашей жизни не обойтись. Но насилие имеет разные грани. Например, даже в той же организации ООН внесены в реестр такие вещи, как вооруженная борьба. То есть есть и вооруженная борьба, и борьба вообще, она присутствует в психике человека, в его психомоторике, психике отстаивания своих интересов, в числе жизни и так далее. Но эта война не относится к категории справедливой войны. То есть в ней нет тех вещей, тех атрибутов, которые внесены в устав ООН, в систему безопасности мировой и так далее. Это война средневековая, феодальная. Поэтому она, если так говорить, плохая, на мой взгляд. Как вы, то есть я к этому не сразу подошел, конечно. 14-15 год были иллюзиями, но в 22 году я могу честно сказать, что я туда попал по ошибке. По своей, разумеется, потом в какой-то, как это сказать, немножко нарушив свое, скажем так, обет какой-то, что я больше не собирался оказываться в Украине. Но, к сожалению, случилось так, что мне пришлось там оказаться. Хотя к февралю месяцу я был уже убежден, что это не до конца, конечно. Я думал все-таки, когда узнали, что мы идем, нас вводят уже туда, в Украину, в Киев, и вот этот режим работы в Киеве, появилась такая иллюзия. Но, может быть, раз так складываются обстоятельства, может быть, это к лучшему. Может быть, сейчас уберем эту хунту там, и в Украине наладится мир, там, и взаимоотношения, и порядок. Такая иллюзия была. Что я имею в виду? Я имею в виду, что проще взять и осудить, знаете, как синица в руке, чем журавль в небе. Борода и всякие Путины и вся вот эта хевра, они далеко, а тут как бы есть чувак, которого можно взять и показать, что мы что-то можем. Там, оп, поймали там. Вот. Единственное, только у них, как бы здесь у этих организаций нет козырей. И меня никто не ловил, меня в плен никто не брал. И я пришел к этим людям сам. Поэтому у них здесь вот этот козырь у них выбит, и они ничего не могут сделать. В плен бы я не сдался. То есть если бы я на поле боя был, разумеется, я вел бы себя по-другому, что я в принципе и делал. А осознание, пришедшее мне позже, я сделал вывод, и я к структурам, которые занимаются международным правом, я не за Украину, там, допустим, да, и у них не ищу никакого оправдания своих поступков. Я в данном случае выступаю за международное право. Вот если я могу принести пользу вот этому институту, который будет регулировать потом все вещи, на этом будет базироваться, на этих китах, чтобы не было дальше войны, чтобы эта война остановилась, и разбирались уже там политики по-другому, и находили какие-то выходы, чтобы не погибали дети, женщины, старики. Вот я посчитал, что я должен так поступить.
De mai bine de un an de zile, Igor îi transmite informații lui Vladimir Osechkin despre începuturile războiului din Ucraina, despre rivalitatea dintre FSB și GRU, dar și despre diversiunile cu care a început confruntarea armată, una dintre ele fiind falsificarea referendumului din Donetsk și Lugansk. A fost martor la preluarea puterii militare în zonele ocupate de către gruparea Wagner și la crearea centrelor de comandă ruse. Are informații despre uciderea liderilor separatiști independenți care nu susțineau neapărat anexarea regiunilor ucrainene de către Rusia.
It was one of the first commands of Wagner Group who did this, and when they did this, Putin made the decision to give a lot of money to Utkin and Prigozhin and to construct and to create the secret army who now named the Wagner Group. Yes, sure, it's very important his testimony about the Wagner Group and the secret methods, because if you will come to all the office and the bureaus of Prigozhin, you don't find one paper about the steps and signature of Wagner Group. He described how they constructed the secret army with some enterprises like Europolis. It's organization who signed thousands of contracts with soldiers, like they send them to the Syria, to Mali, to Sudan, like barmen, journalists, engineers, and how it's worked in Syria, how they killed the Syrian and took under the control the poles of the petroleum, and how Prigozhin create the big resources to the Wagner Group from Syria, from Sudan, from Mali. It's very important. And the last part of his testimony, it's about the invasion in February 2022, when he was the commander of the secret brigade, and the destination it's the building of SBU, and they received the command to enter in this building and to kill all the officers, all the chefs of the division and departments of SBU. And GRU and FSB gave to his team 3 or 4 ex-officers of SBU who left Russia with Yanukovych and who work with FSB. They participated, they prepared a very strong special operation, and in really case it's a good chance that General Zaluzhny with Ukrainian army protected the Kiev and save Kiev and the people who work in SBU too. And all this information he saw when the FSB officers kidnap the children, put them to the buses and go to the Belarus to transfer them to the Russian Federation. He saw this, and he saw when the military intelligence of the FSB did the tortures against Ukrainians to have the information about the coordinates of the Ukrainian army and the secrets, and he saw the illegal methods of the FSB, and all this, it's imaginated that for Igor it's possible to be the witness or in another role in the investigation in some investigations of some terms. It's not just the witness of one. It's big period of the invasion in Ukraine from 2014, and the end of his witnesses, it's June 2022, and it's a very big period, and I think that his testimony and testimony of the people like him, it's helped a lot to open a really big investigation against Putin and his generals.
Igor Salikov nu este singurul fost ofițer care s-a predat justiției. Osečkin și organizația lui au primit sute de cereri de ajutor. Nu toate au primit și răspuns favorabil după verificările de rigoare. Printre cei acceptați în program de protecție acum se află Nicolai, fost ofițer de aviație în armata rusă timp de 14 ani. A acceptat un dialog sub identitate protejată.
Я могу сказать, я считаю себя хорошим специалистом в своей области, где я работал, и я понимаю, что все, что нам говорят по телевизору, это несовместимо и не имеет ничего общего с тем, что мы видим в реальных потерях и в реальных боях в Украине. И мотивация была такой, что, понимая, что цели попадают по мирному населению, умирают старики, дети, мирные граждане, и я понимал, что кроме меня эту информацию, которую я дал, эти показания, которые я дал, эту атаку, которую мы с Владимиром предотвратили 3-4 мая, это если бы и сделал не я, то это не смог бы сделать никто. Совместными усилиями мы сделали очень такую важную миссию по спасению несколько тысяч человек. Но у меня есть 4 детей, и я лучше пожертвую жизнью сейчас, чем у них будет такое будущее в последующие года и в последующие поколения.
How were these orders given? How did it get to bomb civilians?
Приказ получается или в письменном виде с помощью зашифрованных специальных телеграмм через автоматические средства управления, автоматизированные средства управления. Сам летчик получает целеуказание, он получает в виде геоточек. В виде геоточек, и, может быть, у него будут еще какие-то визуальные ориентиры для того, чтобы нанести удар. Большие жертвы сейчас в этой войне населения только из-за того, что старая техника, старые бомбы, большие разведные данные. Могут быть, что разведка, допустим, в России дает, так как все относятся к этой войне, в российской армии есть такое слово, как разгильдяйство. Из-за вот этого отношения к своей службе и даже вот в таких серьезных боях присутствует такое, как разгильдяйство. Может быть, что данные разведки не очень сильно точные, и никто не старается, чтобы они сильно были точными. И поэтому из-за того, что и старая техника, и вот это суммарно все, получается, когда делают атаки, им не ценны украинские жизни, им все равно на украинские жизни, им все равно, что они попадают в дома и так далее, в детские сады. Есть разведка, которая докладывает цели. Есть группа, которая отвечает за это. Вот разведка говорит, вот у нас геоданные, это геоточки тех целей, которые надо уничтожить. Эту цель отправляют в генеральный штаб отрабатывает эту цель. Таких целей может быть, допустим, если их 10, а надо уничтожить 5 целей. Они отрабатывают самые, которые нужны, самые главные, самые важные. У них есть для этого методика отработки целей. Потом эти данные поступают также через Генштаб, как вот у меня было, на меня. Я это довожу до летчиков. И летчик может, он может и не знать, что находится именно под целью. Жилой дом или военный объект. У него задание попасть в эту геоточку и попасть в эту цель. И он это делает. Ему не важно, что там внизу находится.
Pe 3 și 4 mai anul trecut, Nicolae povestește cum i-a transmis lui Vladimir Osechkin informații prețioase despre un atac aerian pus la cale de aviația rusă. El vorbește despre ajutorul pe care l-a dat pentru doborârea primei rachete Kinjal lansată asupra Kievului.
Я начал в режиме реального времени получать информацию, что как готовится. И в конце это закончилось тем, что я отправил Владимиру типы воздушных судов, типы воздушных бомб, которые вообще никто не знал, что будет, ядерная будет бомба или не ядерная. Никто не... Готовилась баллистическая атака очень серьезная, и готовили все виды ракет, и реально что будет, никто не знал. И я Владимиру отправил данные время, предварительное время, предварительные типы и предварительные авиационные средства поражения, которые будут на самолете. И когда мы это все освещали у Владимира на канале, когда он освещал это все смеялись, думали, что вы какие-то вещи фантастические говорите, но прошло через 2-3 дня, нам Алищук подтвердил, что да, действительно это была очень важная информация, с помощью которой сбили очень сильно разрекламированную Путиным ракету «Кинжал». И это сделали первый раз, и это наш существенный большой вклад с Владимиром в это дело. Именно на этом аэродроме, где я служил, в Ахтубинске же это было, когда эту ракету показывали «Кинжал», что я за 2 дня, за 3 дня я был именно на этом аэродроме в Ахтубинске, я, можно сказать, практически служил там. И с волей случая или волей судьбы так получилось, что я и на этом аэродроме побывал в Ахтубинске, где ее испытывали, где ее рекламировали, где ее показывали Путину. И также я был на том аэродроме, откуда это все запускалось и взлетало в Шайковке. И этим и уникально, что я и там был, и что я везде могу рассказать. Этим и получается, что уникальность моих показаний, что я таких людей, которые в 2 местах побывали и все об этом знают, их по пальцам, таких нету.
L-am întrebat pe Nicolae cât de puternică este aviația rusă acum.
Я вам скажу, как есть. Вот я служил в Шайковке 3 года. За все время службы у нас за 3 года не появилось ни одного нового самолета. Я считаю, что это ненормально. Старая техника летает. Это, я вам 100% даю, что старая техника летает. В Ахтубинске, в испытательном центре, где я служил, было новых летающих самолетов 5 Су-57, которые были на испытаниях тогда только. Они были на испытаниях. Они летали, да, где-то были сырые, где-то были недочеты с их работой нестабильной, но было 5 летающих Су-57. Вот в Ахтубинске у нас, где я служил, у нас были и Су-57, и МиГ-31, и вертолеты всех видов. Вся существующая техника, которая может летать в авиации военно-воздушных сил Российской Федерации, это все у нас было в Ахтубинске. И вот за все время службы моей в вооруженных силах из 100% существующей авиационной техники очень хорошо, если бы 20% было бы из них новой. Но в основном это где-то занимало там 10%. Мы считали, что хорошо, если столько.
Atacul aerian e cel care face diferența în orice război, spune Nicolae. El crede că situația actuală ar fi fost mult mai bună pentru Ucraina dacă statele occidentale ar fi decis să o sprijine militar mai rapid.
Ну, про авиацию тут что говорить? Авиация получается так, что в Украине оставалось очень много авиации. Там у них были вертолеты, несколько самолетов. Ну, это в масштабе страны это всего лишь мелочь. Если бы Украине бы изначально, в самом начале войны, там, в первом квартале этой войны предоставили бы самолеты, я думаю, без поддержки авиации любая война, это наступательная война или оборонительная, не имеет значения. Любая война без поддержки авиации, это для Украины, допустим, это очень сложно. Когда у тебя... Ты не можешь воевать против самолетов с бомбами с помощью пистолета или автомата. Ты не можешь. Ты физически этого не можешь. И это должны наконец-таки понять те люди, которые поддерживают Украину. Пример, допустим. Почему они считают себя в России второй армией мира? Потому что вот мы в Сирии все отбомбили, мы в Сирии выиграли ИГИЛ. А конечно вы их выиграли, потому что у них авиации нету. Что такого сложного уничтожить армию, у которых нет самолетов, прилететь, запустить ракету за 100 километров от дальности цели и попасть в цель? Если, конечно, запустить туда 10 самолетов, 5 целей попадет, 80% врага будет уничтожено. То же самое и в Украине. Но чуть-чуть сложнее, потому что у них ПВО современное. Спасибо за это ПВО, то, что дали.
După 10 ani de război în Ucraina și 2 de la invazia rusă în această țară, nimeni nu poate spune când și cum se vor încheia ostilitățile. Oficialii de la Kiev declară ferm că nu vor accepta niciodată concesii teritoriale, iar Rusia refuză revenirea la granițele din 1991. Miza e uriașă, ordinea mondială pe care o cunoaștem și încercăm să o păstrăm.